Hi everyone, my name is Elina. I'm a watercolor artist and educator, and in this video I'll show you how to paint lavender fields using the rules of perspective. I promise it's much easier than it sounds. Let's get started. Here are the materials I'll use today. The paper is from the 500 series ready cut watercolor paper by Strathmore. It's 100% cotton and 300 GSM. This one is 8 by 10 inches and I'll use the board that comes with the package to secure my sheet with the help of paper tape. The paints I'll be using are the new MaimeriBlu landscape theme sets. This one is the Provence set. Inside you have 6 12mm tubes and the colors are absolutely gorgeous. All of them are single pigmented and have excellent light fastness. I've been using them for a while and they're really a joy to work with. You'll see how vibrant they are. My brushes are by Princeton. The flat one is from their Neptune series and the others are from the Aqua Elite series. They're quite good, come to a very fine point and mimic Kolinsky hair very well. Here on the side I have my mixing palette, 2 jars of water and a cotton towel. I'll also have a paper towel nearby. For the sketch, I'll use my mechanical pencil, a ruler and a kneaded eraser. So that's it, let's start painting. I start by securing my sheet to the board. Usually I cover about 5mm of the paper on each side. This step is very important as it keeps the paper in place and prevents it from buckling. Once this is done, it's time to prepare the sketch. Now here is where we'll set the foundation for our lavender field according to the rules of perspective so that it looks natural and realistic. First we need to decide on the placement of the horizon line. This is where the sky and the ground meet in the distance. Avoid placing it exactly in the middle of the painting as this could make your composition a bit boring. Instead, place it slightly below or above the middle for a more appealing composition. In my case, I measure about 8 cm from the bottom of the paper. I'll make a mark on 3 different spots to ensure it's straight. Now let's connect the dots. Okay, so this is the horizon line. Here in the distance I'll draw a small house. First I mark the height with a vertical line. Then its width with a shorter line across. Now let's connect these lines. And add 2 vertical lines on the side. Next I add 2 lines of the same length for the roof. They're parallel to the horizon line. I finish the diamond shape with another shorter line here and finally one more vertical line. I add a small window. Some cypresses on the side and some bushes. Next we need to decide where our vanishing point is. The vanishing point is where all the lines extending from the foreground to the background meet in the distance. It could be on the horizon line or slightly above it at eye level, the height of the observer. In my case it will be around here as I imagine this being our eye level if we were standing right here. Now I'll draw the rows of the lavender field by simply extending the lines from this point, spreading wider as they come closer to us. The rows are wider in the center and become narrower on the sides as we look at them from an angle. So that's pretty much it for the sketch. It might take some trial and error to get it right the first time, but I promise it becomes easier once you practice a couple of times. I removed the excess graphite with my razor. And I place my paper tape below the board to create a slope for the water and paint to flow down. I'm ready to start painting. I squeeze a small amount of each color onto my palette. I wet the entire sheet of paper and give my paints a little spray to activate them. I'll start with the sky. I'm mixing a soft peach shade using golden yellow and Verzino violet. Next I add more of that Verzino violet above it. Let's add even more. And finally some cerulean sky blue. I blend the colors with my damp brush. Now's the time to add more concentrated color where I feel it's needed. I mix a pale purple using Verzino violet and cerulean sky blue to cover the entire field. Then I switch to a round brush and start adding tufts of lavender flowers. I love to start with a pinkish color first. I add a cloud shape at the bottom of each row, then a smaller one, and then an even smaller one, following the rule of perspective where objects become smaller and smaller in the distance. Close to the horizon line, you may even add lines instead of spots, since objects become blurry in the distance. Now let's repeat the same process using ultramarine violet. Now need to be super precise. The most important thing is to follow your lines and gradually make the shape smaller as they move toward the horizon. Don't overthink it. Once we've added the tufts, let's fill in the remaining white spaces. I'll use Potter's Pink, which is granulating and has an earthy tone. I drop a watery mixture here and there where I see white spaces. There's no need to cover everything, leaving some highlights will make the painting more airy and light. We've added the larger shapes, now it's time for details. I cover my sky to protect it from the splatters I'm about to add to the foreground. I create splatters with purple and then pink. This gives the impression of small details. Next, I love to add small spots with thicker paint. Once again, these should be larger in the foreground and gradually fade in the distance. I also like to use blue to make it more interesting. Some final touches with Potter's Pink. Splatters with just water, and now it's time to let it dry. Once my paper is dry, I use a watery purple mixture to add mountains in the distance. I blend them into the fields using a damp brush. Now it's time to paint the house. I use watery Potter's Pink for the walls and blue for the roof. Next I mix golden yellow and cobalt green bluish to create green. I add a touch of violet to mute it slightly. I use this to paint the trees and bushes. With a smaller brush, I start adding spots to the foreground, further defining the lavender flowers. They look different on dry, more defined and expressive. And so do the splatters. Again, I use violet, pink and blue to add these spots and tiny splatters, making the foreground interesting and detailed. I'll even use some of that cobalt green bluish as an accent color. Now adding some details to the house. I mix the dark brown by combining all the colors on my palette. With that, I add the darkest details that make the house pop. Let's make the scene more alive by adding some birds. And now it's time for the best part, removing the masking tape. Always remove it at an angle to avoid tearing the paper. And there you have it, our romantic scene from Provence with expressive lavender fields. So after I stopped filming, I had a better chance to look at the painting from afar, and I actually don't like this part here as the spots and details stop a bit abruptly and some of the lines are crooked. So let me quickly show you how to fix that. I'll use my spray bottle, but first let's cover the sky. I spray some clean water on the area I want to work on. I mix some purple, and with that I'll extend the color spots a bit further, just so the transition is smoother and more gradual. If I get hard edges somewhere, I can soften them with a damp brush. I continue adding some spots and splatters until I'm happy with the result. And there you have it, the rows are now straight and the fading into the distance is more gradual. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until the next time!